I feel today? Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this holler, we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
All right, now this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. It's going to be a fast break edition, but I had to come on because it's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday to me. I'm excited. All right, so anyway, I had to jump on here today because Talk Your Team Tuesday. We got a lot I want to talk about in this quick 30 minutes that I'm going to be on. So if you want to get in, you can hit me up 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. You can hit me up real quick. But again, I'm only going to be on 30 minutes today. Got to go. Got stuff I got to do. But again, I wanted to jump on real quick on Talk Your Team Tuesday. Now, before we go any further, I want to send my deepest condolences to the family of Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach. He passed away this morning at the age of 61 years old. Apparently had a heart condition situation this weekend and was rushed to the hospital. Folks started sending out messages for prayer and good thoughts, positive energy to be sent up on the behalf of Mike Leach. And then the word came today that he passed away with family around him. So listen, I'm one of those people. I try to keep it as real as I possibly can. I didn't always agree with Mike Leach on some of the things that he said. I definitely didn't agree with him on his political thoughts and beliefs. But life is life. I said this to Todd yesterday in reference to something else I'm going to talk about. Some things are bigger than sports, and that was a husband, that was a father, grandfather. We're praying for his family. We extend our deepest condolences from JM&E. We extend our deepest condolences from the lunch break to the family of Mike Leach. Again, hate to hear that he passed away. Hate to hear that he was dealing with what he was dealing with. But here we are. So that's first and foremost. That is first and foremost. Second thing I want to talk about today. Brittany Griner is home. Brittany Griner is home. Brittany Griner was released, obviously, end of last week, I believe it was, and was flown to a military hospital base in San Antonio. She's back in the state of Texas, for those who don't know. She's from Houston, played at Nimitz High School. She's back, and a lot of people want to talk about the disparity between the prisoner swap for her and the person, the merchant of death, who was swapped on her behalf. And people are trying to make that political. Stop it. Stop it. I'm going to try and be as generic as I can on this. I know we talked about it on Thursday of last week. Talked about it on Thursday of last week with Chris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. The current president of the United States made a trade for an American life and was negotiating with a country that was basically setting the ground rules on what the trade was going to be. While I agree 100% that I feel like we should have gotten more for the level of person that we traded for Brittany. We should have been able to get Brittany and Paul Whelan, who is still detained there in Russia. That's my thought. That's many people's thought. But then there's reality. There's reality that was taking place in those negotiations that many of us don't know anything about. What's been released was Russia said it's Brittany or nobody. It's not going to be Brittany and Paul. It's Brittany or nobody. And the administration made the decision to get Brittany out. So there's this now air of we left a former Marine behind. I have since learned about Paul Whelan. I've since learned about his time in the military and how he was removed from the military. I won't get into that. But I will say this, to make it sound like this administration intentionally, purposely chose Brittany Griner. Notice I didn't say it, an WNBA player, because that's what folks want to focus on. Chose Brittany Griner over Paul Whelan is just a false narrative. It's a false narrative. It's a false flag. They had one decision with two options: nobody or Brittany. They brought Brittany home. They at no time decided that Brittany's life was more important than a former Marine. What's interesting is, to me, how one political party wants to make it as if the president and his administration made the decision for Brittany, or a WNBA basketball player, over a former Marine. Paul Whelan has been in captivity and being detained since 2018. The president at that time was another president. That president was asked specifically about bringing Paul Whelan home. And the first answer was, we'll check into that. We'll check into that. We're checking into that. We're checking into that. And then the decision was made that we are not trading the Merchant of Death for Paul Whelan. That decision was made back in 2018. It was reiterated in 2019. And then, of course, we know what happened in 2020. So if there is irate argument or irate feelings, if there are irate arguments or irate feelings, they can't be directed in one place. They cannot. That's ill-placed anger. Why wasn't Whelan brought home in 2018? Why was he not brought home in 2019? Why was the decision made to walk away from a potential prisoner swap between the Merchant of Death and Paul Whelan by the previous administration? I'm not saying that to throw shade on anybody. I'm saying that to get facts out and not emotions. I'm saying that to get truth out and not falsehoods. Prisoner swaps are beyond many of our comprehensions. We're not talking about, I'll give you my Babe Ruth baseball card for your Hank Aaron baseball card. We're not talking about that. It's a level of understanding that most people don't get. Very rarely is it a good deal for the country that is trying to get their person back originally. Very rarely. Very rarely. Russia bided their time. Russia bided their time with the Merchant of Death. They knew that they were going to get somebody that would be on the level of the notoriety that would give them the leverage. That's what they wanted. When they got the first Marine, that didn't give them the leverage. When they got Paul Whelan, that didn't give them the leverage. When they got the teacher that's still over there as well, I apologize, I don't know his name, that did not give them the leverage. But when they got Brittany Griner, that gave them the leverage. And whether you agree with it or not, it's just how it works. And because we're dealing with other countries like Russia and Iran and other places like that, we don't get to make the rules. It's a negotiation, and sometimes in negotiations, it's unequal. Some of y'all are driving around in cars right now that you made a bad negotiation on. Some of y'all are living in houses right now that you came out on the short end of the negotiation. Some of you have credit cards in your pockets that you got the short end of the negotiation. Multiply that times 1 million and put a life involved in it. Now you're getting close to what happened. Brittany Griner got a chance to work out yesterday. Her first move in her workout was a slam dunk. I'm just glad Brittany is back with her family. I did send a message to her father, and I did let him know that we were definitely praying with and for he and his family. So all I'm going to say is y'all see Brittany as this inanimate object of, this spoiled WNBA player that does not like America. I've followed her and seen her and gotten to know her family since she was in the 10th grade. She's a person. She's an American. She loves her country. Her father served in the military. She's got other members of her family that served in the military. What people don't understand is when you love something so much and when you're committed to it so much, you have the right to criticize it when it's not as good as it can be. Doesn't mean you hate the country. If you don't care about something, you will let it be bad, even though it should be good. But when you truly care, you'll say, nah, that's not a good look. Nah, we can do better than that. That's called care. We take my first break. We'll be right back. Again, it's a fast break edition. Donna Coleman-Holman, thank you for your service. Thank you for your gift that you sent me. And thank you for checking in with me and hanging out with me on my birthday. It's the lunch break powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Hey, y'all got to check this show out later on tonight.
Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Let's Talk Monday. Woo!
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
All right. We're back on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. I'm actually in my studio today. I mean, the real studio, not my virtual studio. I'm actually in the studio today. It's still got some work that needs to be done. I had some people that came in and they were real high on getting the work done, and unfortunately, they didn't get it finished. Still got some work to do, but I decided to come and broadcast from it today. So. On my birthday, needed that kind of motivation today. But anyway, Donna Coleman Holman, thank you so much for the birthday love. Thank you, Ben Sutter III, for the birthday love. Appreciate you guys, man. I'm telling you, y'all mean a lot to me, man. This is another trip around the sun, and I'm just glad to see it. A lot of folks did not get to see another day, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to see this one. It is the day I celebrate when I was born. So thank you all. And I mean sincerely for the love. All right. The other thing I want to talk about, the head coach of the UT Longhorns, unfortunately, Chris Beard, was involved in an incident where he was arrested early Monday morning for felony domestic assault and was incarcerated. I did get a chance to tune into his arraignment before the judge. He ended up having to post a $10,000 bond, and he has a couple of different stay away orders where he has to stay away from the residence. He has to stay away from his significant other. All I'm going to say is this. As I said to Todd yesterday, there are things bigger than sports. I sent Todd the message, and Todd was like, "Oh, I thought I was going to hear from you today." No, bro, listen, I'm not calling you to gloat. Who the hell gloats on domestic violence? That ain't me. That ain't never been me. And if you think that's me, you never knew me. I was calling to pray for the man. I thought I was calling another brother in Christ where we were going to pray for the head coach, Chris Beard. As I said about Tom Brady, that situation was personal. His divorce was personal. His divorce was not my sports bite. I say the same thing with Chris Beard. I reported the facts of what happened, speculation, my opinion, all of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And I am going to be consistent in that. So for Chris Beard, for his wife, for his family, I am praying. He has been suspended by the university. That's a fact. I am praying. As I said about other athletes that unfortunately had incidents that made it into the news, I'm less concerned about them going back to the sport as I am about them getting the help that they need to be the best person that they can be with their family, with their friends, and in their community. I say the same thing for Chris Beard. I'm praying for him, whatever help he needs. If there's an addiction there, I pray he gets the help. If there's a anger management issue there, I pray he gets the help. If there's other issues there, if they need marital counseling, I pray that they go through the full process to get the help. But I am not going to be taking shots at Chris Beard or UT or anything surrounding this story. So that's just me. All right, let me get at Floyd Andrews. Now, Floyd ain't had no issues, so I'm about to cut him up. Floyd said, "Hello, AJ and Breakers. On behalf of Jerry Jones and the Cowboy Nation, wishing you a happy birthday. Celebrate and have fun and enjoy your day." Okay, all right. I had to read it. I thought it was going to be shady. I thought it was about to be some shade, and I didn't want no shade. Let me get to that while I got time. I got one more break, and let me get to that. The Texans played like they had nothing to lose. The Texans played like that was their Super Bowl. The Texans played this Sunday like that was the biggest game in their history. And I am glad about it. I'm proud of them for doing that. I know there's no moral victories. I know there's no, we almost won. I know that ain't the case. But I got to give credit to that Texan team for playing like that. I got to get credit because, baby, they gave them boys all they can handle. All I'll say is this. They had everything Dallas scared. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. You can lie and say you wasn't scared. You can lie and say you weren't nervous. You can lie and say you didn't think y'all were about to suffer one of the biggest upsets in sports history. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I said it. They had them scared. They did. Donnie Coleman-Holman, they had them boys scared. Oh, man. They had them boys scared. Big Time Floyd, they had them boys scared. They had them scared. Boy. Let me talk about the goal line play. Because I was hot when the Texans decided to go for it on 4th down on the goal line rather than kick a field goal. And when I saw Rex Burkhead in the game, I was like, oh, hecky no. I now understand that Dameon Pierce suffered a high ankle sprain. They tried to bring him back in, and he could not go. He could not go. What I'm mad about is that Nick Caserio said the best backup running back for Dameon Pierce is Rex Burkhead. I'm going to say this, and I ain't going to be ashamed to say this. I am not going to be ashamed to say this. Until the Houston Texans get out of the Patriot way, where they stop getting former Patriot players, they stop getting former Patriot coaches, they stop getting former Patriot front office people, they stop trying to duplicate what worked in New England, this team will always be meaty and ochre, another mediocre production. Dallas has Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. They got running back 1 and running back 1A. They got running back 1 and running back 1+. The Texans have Dameon Pierce, which is a true RB1, and then they got Rex Burkhead. What? Ain't no way in Hades you can think that you were going to go from a Dameon Pierce who could have done whatever they were trying to do on that play to a Rex Burkhead and get the same result. And then on top of that, Rex Burkhead went the wrong way on the play. So not only did he have himself in there with his mediocre self, and again, the coaches had no other options. They had to put Rex Burkhead in because Dameon Pierce was out. And then he went the wrong way on the play, left his quarterback out to dry. I don't know if it was going to be a good play call or not because the running back went the wrong way. And Jeff Driscoll tried to do the best he could with a broken play. Thank God he didn't fumble. Thank God he didn't give it to the Cowboys and they ran it back for a touchdown. Thank God that they left it down there on the 2 with with a chance for them still to win the game. But I got to tell you, you can say what you want about Lovie Smith. You can say what you want to say about Pep Hamilton. You can say all of that. But what you cannot say is that they picked this team. Can't say that. Can't say that they put the final stamp of approval on this team. They took, where my spade players at? Where my spade? If you know how to play spades, let me hear you. If you know how to play spades, I'm talking about really know how to play spades. I'm talking about you can play. I ain't talking about you can sit down and you know the construct of the game. I'm talking about you know how to play. Well, guess what? This was a situation where Lovie Smith had a partner named Nick Caserio, and Nick Caserio had nothing. I'm talking about he had nothing. He ain't had no spades. He ain't have no big cards. He ain't have no jokers. He ain't have nothing. And he literally took his hand and gave it to Lovie, and Lovie had to play that hand. I'm sorry. I'll say it because the local media will not say it. Man, listen. Bill Belichick, when he went to Cleveland, had mediocre talent. And what happened? He could not win with it. He couldn't win with it. He got fired in Cleveland because the front office gave him crazy, no good talent. Now, I'm not saying that the Texans talent is no good. But look at the Texans' talent compared to Dallas's talent. Look at the Texans' talent compared to Kansas City's talent for next week. Look at the Texans' talent compared to Tennessee's talent. That's Nick Caserio. That's Jack Easterby. That's Cal McNair. That's who that is. That's not, y'all calling the wrong names. That is not Lovie Smith. That is not Pep Hamilton. And oh yeah, by the way, Davis Mills threw his 12th interception of the year. Yeah, it was on a Hail Mary, but hell, it was an interception. It counts. He's got 11 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Big Time Floyd said, if the Texans had upset the boys, that loss would have eclipsed the 32-point choke by the Oilers. Yes, the team almost blew it. Wake-up call for the Cowboys. I give the Cowboys credit. Dak, I give him credit. Kellen Moore, I give him credit. Running back coach, I give him credit. Doc, they marched down 98 yards and punched it in with 41 seconds left to avoid one of the biggest upsets in sports history. That would have been huge. That would have been like when Mike Tyson lost. That would have been like when Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. That would have been like when the 18-0 New England Patriots lost to the New York Giants. It would have. It would have. So anyway, Texans, I give you credit. I hope that they can duplicate that effort this Sunday when Kansas City comes to town. I wish they would have beat Dallas, but now they got Kansas City. So we'll see how that all works out. All right. Let me keep it going. I'll hit the bottom of the hour break. What's up, CJ? CJ Harden tuning in. What's up, my brother? For those of you all who are tuning in to get the update on the Lunch Break Weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge, I don't have those numbers today. I will have them tomorrow. I will come on tomorrow to give you the updates on the Lunch Break Weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge, even if it's just for a minute. I will let you know who won that, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let me do my bottom of the hour break, and when I come back, CJ Harden, I will rep your Philadelphia Eagles. We'll do that next right here on the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of these folks right here.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right, real quick, let me say congratulations to Coach T.C. Taylor. He is the new head coach of the Jackson State Tigers. The I Love have their new replacement head coach from Coach Deion Sanders, who, of course, took the job in Colorado. It will be Coach T.C. Taylor as his replacement. And the two will coach together, from my understanding, in the Celebration Bowl. I'll be down in Atlanta this weekend for the Celebration Bowl. It'll be the North Carolina Central Eagles taking on the is it the Eagles? Why do I keep calling them Eagles when that ain't their name? Hold on, let me look at that, because I hate to get stuff wrong. And my head is not all in it today, so y'all bear with me. Bear with me. North Carolina Central. Yeah, no. I said Eagles. They are not that. My bad. Please forgive me. I know the HBCU community, baby, they get on people about stuff like that. At least I stop when I'm wrong. Good Lord. I'm staying out of that too. Well, I'm staying out of that. I just want to say congratulations, Coach T.C. Taylor. North Carolina Central is going to take on Jackson State this weekend in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta this Saturday, and I'll be there. All right. CJ Harden. Yeah, let's talk about those Eagles, man, because you're right. All they do is win, no matter what. And they are the best team in the NFL right now, bar none. People can ramble on about everybody else, but the Eagles are the number one team in the NFL at 12-1. They're 2 games ahead of the Vikings at 10-3 in the NFC, 3 games up over the 49ers at 9-4. They are 2 games up on the Cowboys at 10-3. So, the Eagles have already secured a playoff spot. They're about to lock up the division in a couple of more weeks, and could lock up that number 1 spot in the NFC throughout the playoffs in a couple of more weeks. So yeah, man. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. All man said the Eagles still have to come to Dallas and play them boys. Okay. All right. CJ Harden said the Eagles will come to Dallas and beat them too. CJ said the Cowboys are not that impressive. All man said, great joke, young man. That's Talk Your Team Tuesday. That's the smoke I come for on Talk Your Team Tuesday. So, yeah, y'all keep it going. I like that. But again, Jalen Hurts is a legit NFL MVP candidate. He's got a legit argument for the entire MVP trophy. Legit, bar none. Again, I love what Patrick Mahomes is doing, love what some other quarterbacks and players are doing, but Jalen Hurts is right there in the thick of it. So we'll see. We'll see how all of that plays out. But again, got to give the Eagles some love. Let's run down these scores from last week. Run down the scores for last week. On Thursday night, it was the Rams coming from behind with you-know-who at quarterback to beat the Raiders. So what? Who cares? Deshaun did not look good again, and I'm not tripping. I don't think that he's washed up. There are folks who think, he's washed up and all that. Come on, man. It's the dude's second regular season game in over 700 days. They lost to the Bengals 23-10. Of course, the Cowboys came from behind to beat the Texans 27-23. The Ravens pulled out a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers with their third-string quarterback in. They had to bring in their third-string quarterback because, of course, Lamar Jackson was out. Hundley got hurt, and then they had to bring in their third-string quarterback. They pulled it out 16-14. You want to talk about quarterbacks that are probably done? Mitchell Trubisky. Oh my God, what is it going to take for him to take the next step as a quarterback in the NFL? Like, it was his job to lose at the beginning of the year, and he looked as bad as he could possibly look in that loss to Baltimore. But again, Baltimore got the win. Jacksonville surprised the Tennessee Titans 36-22. I did not have that one on my bingo card, but I got to give Trevor Lawrence some love, man. 30 for 42, 368 yards, not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns in the win. And that was a game where they literally had nothing going on the running game. They only ran for 60 yards, but he was able to outduel Ryan Tannehill, who threw for 254, a touchdown and 1 interception, and Derrick Henry did his thing. Derrick Henry ran for $121 and 1 touchdown. Dude was averaging over 7 yards a carry. So big win for Jacksonville on the road. The Bills were able to pull away from the Jets 20-12. The Jets need to focus on their quarterback situation. I told y'all Zach Wilson was probably not going to be it. Zach Wilson is not it. Mike White played well, even though they suffered the loss. How about them Lions? Detroit is in the playoff mix after knocking off the red-hot Minnesota Vikings Final score there, 34-23. Detroit is 6-7. Detroit is 6-7. I might owe Dan Campbell an apology at the end of the season. And then the Eagles did it to the New York City Giants, and they did it in the Meadowlands, 48-22. But let me go over to the box score. Jalen Hurts, 21 for 31, 217 on the yardage, and 2 touchdowns, no interception. And oh yeah, by the way, he ran for 77 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts should be the league MVP. I'm saying it now. Jalen Hurts should be the league MVP. Probably won't be because, you know, the voters, but Jalen Hurts should be the league MVP. He is doing everything that Lamar Jackson did the year he won it, plus his team is 12-1. You take Jalen Hurts off that team and put any of their former quarterbacks back in there, and they ain't doing what he's doing. They're not doing the same thing. It's not the same. It's different. Jalen Hurts should be the league MVP. Courtney Hart and Dak better get it together, start playing consistently if them boys want to get out of the first round. That's a statement. That's a statement. Oh, man, don't forget Texans played the Eagles tough. If they had a quarterback, they would have won. Well, the thing is with the Eagles, everybody's going to give them their best shot. Everybody is going to give them their best shot. All right, I got a call coming in. Let me take this call because this is from somebody that I absolutely love. I want to hear what he's got to say. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Hey, it's Keith Hennig. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it.
I have to call every year. I would sing this year, except I have a head cold, so you don't want that.
Oh, man, I wanted you to get in that baritone and sing it out, brother. Sing it out.
Yeah, that would be it. But I did want to call and wish you a very happy and blessed birthday, as always. And I'm interested in hearing your take on the 49ers versus the Tampa Bay Brady's. But I'll wait until I hang up and let you comment on that, unless you want to now.
Well, no, I definitely want to get into it. Man, let me just say this. The 49ers were playing with house money. Their defense is legit. The 49ers defense is what I thought the Rams defense was going to be, but I had no idea that the Rams were going to do what they're doing this year. That being said, all the 49ers needed was somebody to not turn the ball over and not put them in bad situations on the field. Who knew that their quarterback was going to also come out and make plays? I've said this.
Gosh, a third-string quarterback from nowhere state, and he looked like Joe Montana.
Man.
He was incredible. It pained me to watch that game because the Buccaneers are such a mess, and you know, I hope they lose the division to the Saints or the Panthers and just start over next year. This is sad, very, very sad.
Well, I know you as a Buccaneer fan want them to start over with Tom Brady. You don't want them to bring him back.
I do not want him to bring. I don't want them to bring Tom Brady back. I would like to see Todd Bowles get another year. Byron Leftwich probably won't. His play calling is pretty stale, but they've got a good core. They just have a lot of dysfunction down there.
Well, I will say this. As that offensive line goes, so goes that team. You know, there's very little that you can do when your offensive line is as banged up as the Buccaneers line is, and the guys that they got in there are very leaky. So I really would. I would bring back Leftwich. I would get some help and some depth on that offensive line. Obviously, they need some depth and some skill position areas, but you got to make a decision on Brady. Got to make a decision on Brady.
Well, I've watched the NFL forever, and I think this is the worst football I've ever seen come out of the league. Top to bottom, AFC and NFC, there has been some very, very bad football this year.
Well, I will say, I think that there are three teams that are starting to separate themselves. One of them suffered a tough division loss, but those three teams for me, you're gonna think I'm crazy. Let me say four. Those four teams for me are by far Philadelphia, number 2, Minnesota. I'm not crazy when I said this because I told y'all this team was going to be there at the beginning of the year, the Dallas Cowboys. And then I think Kansas City is still going to come out on top of the AFC when it's all said and done. I know everybody's still in love with Buffalo, but again, if I had to take Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes for one game, I'm going Patrick Mahomes every day.
So if the Super Bowl were this Sunday, who would be participating?
I would say Philadelphia and Kansas City.
I agree. I totally agree. And everybody else can just, sit at home and watch on the sofa like I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody from the South is going to win. NFC South is going to win anything.
Well,
your Saints may pull off that division.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. They're coming back out with Andy Dalton this weekend. That decision's already been made. So, and again, I figured it out. I mean, they're going strictly by the numbers. His passer rating has him in the top 10 of starting quarterbacks. So, but there's just that it factor that he doesn't have. He does not have that it factor.
Drew Brees didn't leave that on the bench for him.
No.
That's too bad.
Yep.
That is too bad.
Yep.
And the Carolina Panthers, they might.
I tell you what, I really feel like they found their head coach, and I hope they give him the job. Steve Wilkes, I think, has done enough to earn that job.
I totally agree. The minute Matt Rule left Charlotte was the best day the Panthers could have, and I think he's doing a tremendous job as head coach. Little shaky on quarterback and very hard to replace Christian McCaffrey, but I don't expect the Bucs to win. They may win 2 out of the next 4, but I don't think they're going to win the division.
I think that's going to be an ugly division. I think whatever the final record for that division winner is going to be real ugly. I think it will be a first.
Oh, it'll be a 500 team or less.
Yeah.
It's going to represent the South.
Yeah.
That is too bad.
Yep. Hey, but somebody's got to win it. Somebody's got to go to the playoffs from out of there. What they do from there, we'll see.
Well, it's a whole new season when the playoffs start.
Right.
But I've got to run in and see a client, but I did want to wish you a very, very happy and blessed birthday. I hope you really enjoy your day.
Keith, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being my friend as always.
My pleasure. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. Good luck with your client.
Thank you.
All right. Keith Hennig, y'all. He's one of our good brothers. We appreciate him tuning in on the show. Love the call on Talk Your Team Tuesday. All right, listen, let me take a break. When I come back, I am going to have to wrap it up and get on out of here. But again, thank you for all the birthday love. Thank y'all for tuning in with me right here on the show. All right, we'll take this break. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Man Talk Monday. Woo!
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and what Life Happens podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street y'all done had problems, maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central.
That's going to be a great show tonight. Y'all be sure and check out Queen 3 and King podcast tonight at 7 o'clock right here on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. It's going to be great. Going to be a great show. All right, listen, I got to wrap it up. Let me go through the rest of these games just score-wise. Talk about the Eagles beating the Giants. Kansas City did what they needed to do to beat the Broncos. Very ugly injury, concussion on Russell Wilson. When he hit his head on that field, it was just straight head. Helmet had a knot on the side of his head. And of course, the camera angle got his eyes, and they were not good. So again, my sincere thoughts and prayers going out to Russell Wilson and his family during his recovery. 49ers all over the Buccaneers, 35-7. The Panthers beat a pretty good Seattle Seahawks team, 30-24 on the road. Again, Steve Wilkes should be named head coach there. Take that interim stuff off. The Chargers over the Dolphins, 23-17. And then last night, New England over the Cardinals, 27-13. Man, Mac Brown has gotten very comfortable with that F-bomb. Mac Jones has gotten very comfortable with that F-bomb. I'm going to tell you, I just don't like it. I don't like, when it's Mac Jones, when it's Tom Brady, they're just fiery. When it's Terrell Owens, whether it's Des Bryant, they're disgruntled. I don't like anybody's quarterback cussing and physically and visibly being upset with their offensive coordinator where everybody can see it. Man, keep that stuff under wraps. Keep that stuff in-house. It ain't a good look. It ain't a good look. It ain't a good look for Mac. It ain't a good look for Tom Brady. It ain't a good look for anybody. And I'm going to be fair about it. When another quarterback or player does it, they're just as passionate as the guys that some of y'all like. But Mac Jones has gotten very comfortable with those F-bombs. Again, hey, listen, that's what your head coach wanted. Your head coach wanted the person calling the plays that's calling the plays. So you want to cuss at somebody? Let me see you cuss at Bill Belichick like that. I want to see how that works out for you. All right, anyway, I got to go. Again, tomorrow I'll just do a real quick. Come on, give you the winner of the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge, and then I'm going to have to get off. Got to get ready to travel. So as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except be nice to one another, man. We are so divided right now. I can't stand it. It just does not make sense. Again, sincere prayers going out to the family of Mike Leach. And for those who think I'm trying to be petty and messy, I'm not. I am praying for Chris Beard and his entire family. I'm praying that he and they get the help that they need. All right? All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all real quickly tomorrow. Y'all take care.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Number 1, The House Select Committee to investigate the January 6 attack on the United States Capitol is winding down its investigation into that day's events. As announced by the committee, the target release date of the final report is just over 1 week away, December 21st. The compilation is expected to be about 1,000 pages long, and with Donald Trump as its focus, will be on the role the former president played and the big lie that the 2020 presidential election was stolen. January 6 committee co-chair, Congressman Benny Thompson, told the media last week that in addition to the final report, the bipartisan committee plans to make one or more criminal referrals to the Department of Justice against those who played a role in the planning and coordination of the insurrection. The decision to file charges rests with justice officials. Number 2, work crews have steadily erected hundreds of double-stacked shipping containers topped by razor wire along Arizona's remote eastern boundary with Mexico in a bold show of border enforcement by Republican Governor Doug Ducey, even as he prepares to leave office. Federal agencies have told Arizona the construction on U.S. land is unlawful and ordered it to halt. Ducey responded on October 21st by suing federal officials over their objections, sending the dispute to court. The governor insists Arizona holds sole or shared jurisdiction over the 60-foot strip the containers rest on and has a constitutional right to protect residents from imminent danger of criminal and humanitarian crises. Number 3, a bill to rescind the COVID-19 vaccine mandate for members of the U.S. military and provide nearly $858 billion for national defense passed the House Thursday as lawmakers scratch off one of the final items on their yearly to-do list. The bill provides about $45 billion more for defense programs than President Joe Biden requested. The second consecutive year, Congress significantly exceeded his request as lawmakers seek to boost the nation's military competitiveness with China and Russia. The House passed the bill by a vote of 350 to 80. It now goes to the Senate, where it is expected to pass easily, then to the president to be signed into law. Number 4, police in San Jose, California are investigating potential hate crime allegations after 66-year-old Mark Henry Waters, who is white, shot an unarmed 21-year-old black man who was renting an Airbnb in his neighborhood on October 2nd. The victim was seriously injured by a gunshot to his leg that resulted in a broken femur, but his injuries were non-life-threatening and he survived. Number 5. Inflation is hovering near a 40-year high, driven by steep increases in food prices, housing, and utilities. While it's easy to see and measure those price changes, it's something else to actually understand them. To get more information on inflation, please check out today's What You Need to Know newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. One of the best medicines for your soul is to relax your mind. Join us Tuesday on our live streaming show on YouTube and Facebook Live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedian extraordinaire Damon Williams and contributor Cameron Riley. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.